back to the channel today. I'll be giving my recap on the two games that happened today. The 49ers absolutely getting fucking dominated by the Seattle Seahawks. I'm recording the game still, or recording the video. There's still fucking time left on the clock, but Mac Jones is in the game. This game has been done since the first quarter. And then I want to recap, and I'm going to recap the Buffalo Bills against the Denver Broncos. A fantastic game. At least we had one good game today, because last week, basically all of them were great games. So we're going to start off with the game that's currently happening right now. The San Francisco 49ers getting their fucking ass handed to them. It wasn't close at all. This game was basically over. Or it wasn't over, but it was like, damn. After the first 13 seconds, when Rashid Shaheed once again takes a kickoff return to the end zone for a touchdown, where in the first 13 seconds, it is already 7-0. And from then on, it didn't get worse. I mean, the Niners aren't even going to score 7 points. Seattle didn't even need to score any more points after the first 13 seconds to win the fucking playoff game. That is insane. In the last 8 quarters that these two teams have played against each other, the Seattle Seahawks have allowed the 49ers to only put up 3 field goals. That is insane to me. This was a team that prior to that week 18, they were putting up like 30 points a game the last 5 weeks. So for them to put up 9 fucking points in 8 quarters against the Seahawks is absolutely insane. This game was very simple. In reality, the game was very simple. It was just Seattle absolutely swarming every single time the Niners did anything. You know, the thing I'll say about Seattle is I think they are the best team at doing the pursuit and tackle. They do it better than anyone else. The Niners are known for the run after catch. They couldn't fucking do shit after getting the ball. Nothing. There was nothing for this offense to do today. It wasn't close. The score of being 41-6 is insane. Just because in week 18 it was only 13-3, and that left a lot of Niner fans saying, well, we got dominated, but it was only a 10-point game. We should be able to do this one too. My family was very much mad at me that I even said Seattle was going to win this game. And after the first 20 minutes, my family immediately realized we're not going to be able to do this. And if you hear any noise, my family's fucking retarded and they're arguing about some dumb shit again. Like usual. But yeah, I had to record this just because there was nothing else to do. This game was over at half. It was 24-6 at half. There was really nothing to do after that half. The Niners come back, get a first down immediately. My family's like, oh, they can come back, dude. And then they fucking get nothing else that drive. And then the Seattle Seahawks immediately go in and score a touchdown, and then which makes it 31-6. And at that point, my family just said, this game is over. Let's just do something else. And what they're doing is why I'm making the video right now. But yeah, Sam Darnold didn't even need to. Sam Darnold coming into this game was like, ooh, he's injured a little bit. He's not going to be 100%. They didn't even need Sam Darnold to fucking do shit. He was 12 of 17 for 124 yards and a touchdown. But that's all they really needed out of him. Just because the Seattle defense, I've been telling people that, like, statistically they have been, I think, better than the Legion of Boom. But they won't give them credit because the Legion of Boom has this sense of aura that the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, and the 02 Bucks have. And the no-fly zone in 2015 with the Broncos. They have a sense of aura that's like no one can compete with them. When this year, this Seattle defense is probably playing better than that Legion of Boom. They just don't have the kind of names that the Legion of Boom did back in 2013. But they play some great defense. It is absolutely insane defense. It is amazing. It's incredible what this defense can do to teams. It really is. Looking back at it, the fact that the Rams scored 37 points on this team is incredible. It's incredible. Just because Seattle just swarms offenses and really just fucks up their opposing offense. I mean, I think that Mike McDonald, other than maybe Spags, and even then you could say that he probably is better than Spags, I think he may be the best defensive mind in the NFL right now. And it's currently not really all that close. It's like him and Spags. And he just showed forth again. Hey, Kyle, one of the best offensive minds, but I'm just going to straight up just make sure you can't do anything this game. And I think I put a thing on, there's a stat of Brock Purdy against Mike McDonald in 6 games where he has 6 touchdown passes to 9 interceptions. That is really bad. That includes the Ravens game on Christmas back in 2023 where he threw 4 interceptions. But Brock Purdy today couldn't do anything. He just couldn't. Seattle, the reason why I said Seattle was going to win this game is because they're just going to fuck up the Niners. They're going to fuck them up. And what did we see today? They fucked them up. I was going to record this video with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter just because I said, in my mind, they're not going to come back. They're not going to. The moment that Seattle put up 24, I said, the game's over. Because I don't think the Niners are going to be able to score 24. And it proved to be true because they were shut out. And they put in the bench. They put in the backups in the fourth quarter. Both teams did. That's how you know this game was not close. Was the fact that the Seahawks were like, all right, we fucking won. We're going to rest for next week to play either the Rams or the Bears. And the Niners just said, we're going to put Mac Jones in. There's nothing else. We white flag. We can't compete with this team. And my family was very much like, they're optimistic. I am too to a certain extent, but at some point you got to realize that you're not a better team than this team. This team just has your number, and they're going to be able to dominate you. And that's what they did today. First play of the game, Shaquille touchdown, immediately demoralizing, and then it just went downhill. First quarter was 17-0, and you're like, huh, that's not great. Tonjes with the fumble. He did get hurt. I think he might have probably torn his Achilles. Get well soon, Tonjes. CMC with a stinger. He barely even played in the second half. Didn't really need to. The game was over at that point. But, yeah. This was just a game where it was like, you're wondering if the Niners are going to figure it out. And by the time that they were still trying to figure it out, the game was over. The game was over. It wasn't close. Brock Purdy led the team in rushing yards with 37. 37 rushing yards. Damn, they're actually getting fucking really loud. Really loud. Sorry if you guys hear that. If not, then I'm probably sounding really stupid. Not as dumb as my family. But yeah, I mean, like, they absolutely stuffed CMC. CMC couldn't do anything this game. And really looking at the total yards from each team, 221 for the Niners to 281 for the Seahawks. That's not a crazy thing. But I mean, it was just terrible. 3 turnovers for the 49ers. I said the key to success for the Seahawks is forced turnovers, and Sam Darnold don't turn over the ball. And for the most part, he played a very clean game. And you see that just because the score is 41-6. Obviously, Niner fans, we weren't supposed to even be here. We weren't even supposed to be in this game. We were supposed to be out by week 5. In reality, you had one of the easier schedules this year, and against the great offenses against the great defenses, you weren't able to perform, and injuries played into that a lot. And it just sucks that your season's going to end this way, but I think this is the way that most people knew it was going to end, which was in the hands of a team that was just truly better than you in basically all facets. The Niners weren't able to get a run game basically all season, and, well, let's just say that it was very easy for the Seahawks to run over on this defense. Yeah, I mean, Kenneth Walker got 19 carries for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns. Charbonnet only went 5 for 20. He got hurt for a little bit. I think he might have came back. I'm not too sure. Cooper Kupp had a really good game. 5 for 60. JSN only 3 for 19, but he got that touchdown. Overall, this was just a game where Seattle just showed that we're a better team than you. We are a better football team than you. Week 1 was 4 months ago. We weren't that same Seattle Seahawks team. But we were that same Seahawks team that just beat you 2 weeks ago. And we're going to prove that to you guys once again. But this time in our home stadium. And what did they do? They proved once again, hey, we are a better football team than you guys are. And we're going to make sure that people know that. And it's not going to be close this time. And that's exactly what they did. The reason why I'm very passionate about this performance is just because I was constantly just being told, you fucking know they're not going to win. By my family, just because we're Niner fans. But I also have a brain. And I could clearly see, hey, this team's much better than the other team we're playing. Better defense. And they're just going to prove it. They didn't really have to do much offensively. And insane that they still were a better offensive team than us. But yeah. Kyle Shanahan got out-coached again by Mike McDonald in 2 of the last 3 weeks. Holy fuck, they are loud. Very loud there. But, yeah. Almost as loud as the fucking stadium in Seattle, dude. That was insane crowd. Everyone knows 12th man, and it is a real thing. And the 12th man came in today, and it almost felt like there was 13 men on the field just because of how dominant they were able to be. And then you get the home crowd on your side. The Seattle Seahawks just proved once again why I believe they are the best team in the NFL. And the Niners proved why I thought that their record was a little bit, just because they didn't really play a lot of great teams. They beat up on the bad ones, lost to the great defenses, which is why I thought they were going to lose, and they ended up losing. Seattle, congrats on the win. You host another game next week. Hopefully Sam Darnold is better next week because he didn't really look fully there this week. All right, going on to the other game. We have the Denver Broncos beating the Buffalo Bills with a score of 33-30. This was just a great game. I'm going to talk about, first things first. I had work again. I came in this game and it was 10-10. But by the time that I got home, it was 17-10. And then obviously the fumble from Josh Allen made it 20-10. So I'm not going to be able to talk so much about the first half. But basically what I said in the prediction video, which was if Denver had like a 2-possession lead going into the second half, they would probably win that game. What I didn't think they were going to be able to do, though, is win in a kind of high-scoring game. 63 total points. I did not think they were going to be able to win that kind of game, but they were. Josh Allen had probably one of his worst playoff games just due to the fact that he turned over the ball 4 times. And it showed, I think, in those 4 turnovers from Josh Allen, they had, a touchdown and 2 field goals from that. So you get rid of those, Obviously, it's very much if man type of thought process here, but it would have been probably a different game than it was. Bo Nix played very well. I want to say Bo Nix. Um, he broke his ankle in the second to last play in overtime, and this is just it's a great win for the Denver Broncos, but it also is just very sad, just knowing that your franchise quarterback is not going to be able to play next week in a very meaningful game for your franchise. You're going to have Jarrett Stidham, who his last performance was in 2023 with the Raiders, when he had a really good game and almost beat the 49ers, and then he played the Chiefs backups, I believe, and kind of looked a little bit worse. But he's going to be your quarterback. From the Broncos, I got to hope that you guys have Nick Foles in you. You got to hope that you guys just have enough around Jarrett Stidham to be able to just squeak by in these games. And if I'm honest, they do. Now, Jarrett Stidham has a lot, and I mean a lot of pressure on him. You got the 1 seed team. You have to find ways to help out Jarrett Stidham next week. But keep back to this game. Bo Nix played very, very well. He once again showed why he is one of the more clutch QBs in the league. Getting a late fourth quarter touchdown to make it 30-27. Absolutely huge from Bo Nix. I have a buddy of mine who's like very high. He's a Broncos fan. Very, very high on Bo Nix. And to be honest, I kind of wasn't this season. I wasn't very high on how he played this year. I thought he had a regression from last year when he played very good as a rookie. This year, the offense, including him, kind of just like at times played down to their opponent. But today, Bo Nix showed a lot. And it really does suck that in the midst of him showing a lot, he won't be able to show me anymore this season because of the surgery he's going to have, I believe, on Tuesday in Birmingham, Alabama. But it was just a great performance from the Broncos. The Broncos, you have your quarterback. I made fun of him a lot. I will admit, I made fun of Bo Nix more than most just because there were times he just didn't fully look like a great quarterback. But he's kind of like Caleb Williams in a sense where he doesn't have to be perfect for 4 quarters. Just know that he will be perfect when you need him most, which is probably one of the best qualities you can ever ask for in a quarterback. And overall, that's very exciting for the Broncos. Hopefully, this won't sideline him in the beginning of next season. Now it's about recovery for Bo Nix and hopefully getting ready before training camp. As for the Bills, this was the narrative for the Bills, mainly Josh Allen, not so much the Bills, was there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's no Lamar Jackson. So what should you do? You should go to the Super Bowl. Because the only reason why you weren't able to go to the Super Bowl is because you had to play Mahomes. And now that he's not there, why wouldn't you guys be in the Super Bowl? Well, this team, I did pick the Bills. I will say this, I picked the Bills. I picked the Bills solely off the base that they have Josh Allen, and Josh Allen will be able to do Josh Allen things. And for a moment, he was able to do that, but it was not enough. It was not enough. The Bills overall, they weren't a better team. They weren't a better team than the Broncos. The turnover ratio was really, really bad. I think it was like 5 turnovers by the Bills to 1, which that's not a winning format. That's not the way you win games. And it showed by the fact that they lost this game, and they probably should have lost. Just because I don't think a team that turns over the ball that many times should be allowed to just go out with the win still. The way they played today wasn't winning football in my eyes. And then saying that, they did make it very close. Probably the key thing that's going to be talked about is the last drive of the game where the Denver Broncos got 3 flags. Or I should say the Buffalo Bills had 3 flags on them. They weren't really bad calls. It was more of like the call in like the Eagles versus Chiefs Super Bowl, the first one, where it was like Juju clearly was held, but it's like you don't call that to like end the Super Bowl. That's how they're going to talk about these penalties, but they were penalties. The 3 flags, they were the right call. It's going to leave a bad taste in some fans' mouth just because, like I said earlier, like a few seconds ago, that's just not the way fans want to see the game end. However, they are the right call. And sometimes the right call isn't the call that people want to be called. But overall, this is a great win for the Denver Broncos. It does absolutely suck that your franchise quarterback won't be able to help the franchise get to the Super Bowl for the first time since Super Bowl 50 10 years ago. And it could be once again at Levi Stadium. But if I'm the Broncos, I got absolutely hope, and I mean hope, that Jarrett Stidham is able to just do enough offensively, because the Broncos will be able to probably stop the Texans just because the Texans themselves can't really score. The Patriots might be your hardest matchup now. Earlier I would have said it was going to be the Texans, but it might be the Patriots now. But it really does suck for really kind of both teams in different reasons. For the Bills, obviously, it's a 7th straight season of losing in one of the worst ways possible by a last second field goal, I guess you could call it, to lose the game again. And this is another year where Josh Allen just fell just a little bit short. But unlike the other years where like you could say it wasn't his fault, it was just like they missed a kick in the divisional round against the Chiefs, 13 seconds, then you don't get the ball back. They go for on 4th down, and they don't get the call last year. Where Josh Allen just played really well, where in this game, he wasn't careful with the ball. And another talking point they're going to probably have is, did Brandon Cooks catch that ball in overtime? It was very close. And when it's very close and you can't really dictate the call on instant replay, you're most likely going to go with the call on the field. And the call on the field was the Broncos picked it off. That's going to be a talking point. When, in my opinion, it's one of those plays where it's just too hard to change the ruling. So I'm not mad at it. Some people are going to be mad at that decision, but I'm not. And at the end of the day, if your game comes down to one play and you blame it on that play, that's not the reason you lost. A game shouldn't have to come down to one play. There's obviously plays before the game that leads to that play. And the fact of the matter is, you guys weren't careful with the ball for the first 4 quarters. And for that reason, you had to play an overtime game. And the Broncos were able to come out and find a way to win it. So the Buffalo Bills, once again, figure it out. I do think this was it, though, for the whole Sean McDermott experience. And I do think you should find a new head coach. As for the Denver Broncos, you survive, live to play another game. But the next game will be hard, knowing that you're not going to be playing it with your franchise quarterback. But yeah, that is my recap on the 2 games that happened today. Tomorrow I will be back again to recap the Texans versus Patriots and the Rams versus Bears. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, and peace.